Hey, I'm Austin. Welcome to another edition of Whiteboard Friday. Today we're going to be talking about Lambda Next, Lambda School's postgraduate program. So Lambda Next is one of the things I'm most excited about. I don't think we've launched anything this cool since basically day one of Lambda School. And Lambda Next is a fully supported postgraduate environment. We have support for you, we have guidance for you. And basically, across all the Lambda School staff, we've seen thousands of engineers get hired, and we know what it takes to go from, hey, I can actually do this stuff, to, hey, I'm in a job. And Lambda Next is a program designed to support you in doing that. And it's really, really cool. So as the Lambda School staff, collectively, we've placed thousands and thousands of software engineers. And as we talked about what we can do to help students, get into that first job, we realized that there are experiences that could be boiled down, and we could help those students do exactly what they need to do to get hired. And as a Lambda School graduate, you now know all of the stuff that you need to know. We've verified that. You have the Lambda School stamp of approval. Lambda Next is about showing hiring managers, showing companies that you're capable of doing what we know you're capable of doing. So a lot of Lambda Next is basically, if I'm a hiring manager, I have a few basic questions about every applicant that comes into my inbox or into my office, and I need to answer those questions affirmatively before I can hire that person. Those questions are something like, are they able to contribute to a new code base? Maybe there's a stack that they've never used before. Are they able to work with people's code that they've never seen before? Are they able to work with a team? Not to mention the base, do they have technical chops, generally speaking? So Lambda Next is designed to help you answer all of those questions in a very proactive way, so that when somebody stumbles upon your resume or your portfolio, they can automatically answer those questions yes, get you into an interview and get you hired as quickly as we can. So we structure Lambda Next in a series of weeks, and every single day you will be doing a couple things. Every day you'll be sending out 5 applications. Every day you'll be writing and pushing code. That's extremely important. A lot of hiring managers, one of the first things they do when they're looking at a potential software engineer that went through a school like Lambda School or even a university program, is they see, have you been writing code since you graduated? And if you got to graduation day, you finished, you have a diploma from a university or whatever it is, and you haven't written code after that, that's an enormous red flag in the hiring manager's eyes. So we're going to make sure that not only are we writing code, we're writing code that shows the hiring managers what they want to see, and then we're signaling that in other ways as well. So you'll be writing code every day. You'll also be going to a meetup every week. Sometimes those are online meetups if you're in a rural area. If it's possible, it's ideal if it's you're meeting actual people in the community and you're networking. And then we have interview practice every day as well. Sometimes that's behavioral, sometimes it's technical, but really we're just getting you into the swing of things so that when you show up in a job interview, you know what you're talking about, you know what you need to say, you can crush it, and you get the job. So let's look at what the different weeks look like in Lambda School. There's no way around putting in the hours. There's no way around doing the work that it takes to get hired. A lot of people underestimate that getting hired isn't always an automatic thing. But we help guide and direct your effort and energy so that it's done in the most productive manner. So week 1, we work on building an awesome portfolio. Most of you will already have a personal site or a portfolio by the end of Lambda School. We'll give you requirements for what that needs to show, for what that needs to be, and we'll help review your portfolio, make sure that it is just awesome. Before Lambda Next, you've already got a really good resume in place. We've looked at your LinkedIn. We've worked on a lot of that stuff. But the portfolio is probably the most important aspect of getting hired. That's the first thing that any hiring manager or technical recruiter will look at is, what have they built, what have they done? And we'll make sure that that is awesome in week 1. The other thing about Lambda Next is every week we're going to be producing some sort of media. So whether that's a blog or a YouTube video or a conference talk, but we're just going to call it a blog for simplicity's sake. But that is you telling the world what you know and broadcasting and signaling, this is what I understand. In the first week, we want it to be about what you've learned. So that's not, a checklist of, I can write JavaScript, I can write C, I can write Python. That is you trying to show a hiring manager that you've learned how to think like a software engineer, that you've learned how to approach new problems and really problem solve. And we'll work with you on what that blog post should look like, and you'll put that on your portfolio. And that's week 1. Week 2, you're going to be pulling down somebody else's code. So another question that a hiring manager will have is, okay, they've built their own projects, but do they understand how to approach code that they didn't write? So when I go into a code base at Facebook or Google or Uber or a small insurance company, whatever it is, when I see code that I've never seen before and there's a huge code base with 1 million lines of code, can this engineer wrap their mind around that? Can they figure out how to contribute? Can they figure out what's broken if something is broken? So we're going to help you find somebody else's code that you've never seen before, reason around working with that code, making contributions, submitting a pull request, working on someone's code that you have never seen before. And then you're going to blog about that experience so that hiring managers can see, okay, this person checks that box. They know how to work with code that's not their own. Week 3, we're going to be building something in a new language or framework. So that's another question that most hiring managers have. We teach the most common stacks and frameworks within Lambda School, generally speaking, but probably the majority of students will end up working in a language or a framework that we've never taught at Lambda School. So that's going to be a big question in a hiring manager's mind is, okay, we've never taught, they didn't learn, maybe it's Java in Lambda School. Are they going to be able to pick up Java? So we're going to show them that, look, I can pick up a new language, I can pick up a new framework. I've learned how to reason around building new things. I can figure it out from documentation, and I can build stuff that I've never touched before. And then you're going to, again, blog about that experience. Week 4, we're going to be working with open source. So that includes things like how to interface with an open source community, how to find issues, how to reason with somebody else's code base again, but this time in an open source environment. We've worked on some recommended ways to do that will help you kind of cut your teeth on that. But every student by the end of that week should be able to have a pull request that is merged into a major open source project, and probably even an NPM package. So that goes, a hiring manager comes in and sees not only are they able to build a web application, but they're actually contributing to the fundamental open source projects that a lot of the web is built upon. That's another very, very strong signal. In week 5, you're actually going to be creating your own open source project. So you're going to show the world that you understand what's out there and what isn't out there enough, that you can find a little block in the wall that's missing and put it out there. Maybe it takes off, maybe it doesn't. But that's a fundamental aspect of being a good software engineer, is giving back to the community, finding, we're all really building upon this on the work of people who have come before us. Very few people are writing assembly from scratch. Everyone is using open source on top of open source on top of open source. And we're going to help you find a new way to contribute to that living, breathing body of work. The thing that makes me really excited about Lambda School is we launched it about a month ago, and since we launched it, we've had a student hired almost every single day since we've launched it, and almost all of those students have come through Lambda Next. So we know that this works. We know that if you're putting in the work and you're putting in the hours and you're showing employers what you need to show them, that you will get hired. So Lambda Next is a really cool, supported, structured way to help you do that. And we're going to be with you every step of the way, making sure that you do what it takes, that you know what it takes, and that you're going to get into that job. Another really cool part about Lambda Next is if you are participating in Lambda Next, you are invited to Demo Day. So demo day is something new we've rolled out recently, but it happens every 5 weeks. It happens a few weeks after each graduating class. And demo day is a couple of things. It's an opportunity for you to show the world, and demo day is often filled with hiring managers that have come to see what Lambda School students are up to. You have a chance to show them what you've built. And then after that, we set up hiring day speed dating. So that is an opportunity for you to meet a lot of different hiring companies kind of in rapid succession. You know, you're not going to generally get hired as a result of that, but the goal is it's an easy chance for you to make as many connections as you can with as many employers as are out there. And it's just a really shortened time frame for you to do that in. So instead of submitting a bunch of resumes and talking to a bunch of hiring managers and having to go through that process, they come to Lambda, we make it easy, we set it up. We match people up with preferred stacks and geographic locations and all that stuff. But if you're participating in Lambda Next, if each week you're doing the stuff that you need to do, then you're invited to demo day. And you're not invited to demo day just once. As long as you're continuing to do the stuff that you need to do, you can come back to demo day again and again and again until you're hired. And everything that we do at Lambda School is we know what it takes to get you hired, and we try as hard as we can to give you the framework and the help that it takes to get there. And that's all we think about. That's what we eat, sleep, and breathe is how do we help create the best engineer and show the world that this engineer is capable and help you get the best paying, most enjoyable job that we can. And that is Lambda Next. Lambda Next is a way for you to not only be a capable engineer, but show the world that you are a capable engineer and land that job. And we are there every step of the way to help and support you and make sure that you're doing the right things. We'll critique you in ways when you need critiquing. But Lambda Next is, in my opinion, the best resource I've ever seen for helping a software engineer land a job. So thank you for watching this Whiteboard Friday. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week.